Picture this. You are a member of a small band of nomadic hunters and gatherers living 10,000 years ago. Your days are spent tracking wild game across the savannas, and your nights are huddled around a campfire sharing stories and keeping warm. Life is tough, but you have one thing that sets you apart from other species: adaptability. Your willingness to learn and change has been key to your survival so far, and it will be what allows you to thrive and pass on your genetic information to future generations. Hey there, welcome to my channel. Humans have been around for about 300,000 years. We have managed to survive multiple ice ages and adapt to every environment on Earth. But why? What makes us so special? Is it our opposable thumbs or our big brains? The truth is that our success came from a combination of things. In today's video, we are going to look at how prehistoric humans survived for millions of years. Number 1. Tool use and innovation. One of the most significant factors that helped prehistoric humans survive was their ability to use and innovate tools. Our ancestors started making simple tools around 2.6 million years ago. These early tools were made of sharp rocks called flakes that were struck off of a stone core using a hammer stone. These flakes were then used for cutting, scraping, and processing animal carcasses. Around 1.76 million years ago, our ancestors started making more complex tools, known as the Acheulean toolkit. This toolkit included more standardized and symmetrical tools, such as the hand axe. These tools were used for a wide variety of tasks, including butchering animals, woodworking, and digging. Later, during the Middle Stone Age, people started making smaller, more specialized tools, like spear points and awls, for punching holes in hides. During the Late Stone Age, people began using a wider range of materials, such as bone, ivory, and antler, to make tools like needles for sewing clothing and harpoons for hunting marine life. By the end of the Stone Age, humans had developed the technology to make and use composite tools, which were tools made of 2 or more parts. This innovation allowed humans to create more efficient and versatile tools, such as fishing nets and bows and arrows. Overall, the development and refinement of tools were fundamental to human survival. It allowed early humans to hunt more efficiently, process food more easily, and defend themselves against predators. It also played a role in the expansion of human populations and the spread of humans around the world. 2. Diet and food processing. Prehistoric humans ate a variety of foods, including meat, plants, fruits, nuts, roots, and tubers. However, their diet changed over time and varied depending on where they lived. Early hominins likely started out as scavengers, eating the leftovers of animals that other predators had killed. They likely used their developing stone tools to break into animal carcasses and access the nutritious bone marrow and fat. Over time, they began hunting their own food, using spears and other weapons to catch animals. This allowed them to access a more reliable source of protein and fat, which was essential for their survival and the growth of their brains. Plants likely played an important role in the diet of prehistoric humans. They were an important source of carbohydrates, vitamins, and minerals. Early humans gathered wild plants, including fruits, nuts, and roots, and later learned to cultivate plants through a process called domestication. This allowed them to have a more reliable source of food and led to the development of agriculture. Food processing was also an important part of the prehistoric human diet. They used tools like stone grinders and mortars and pestles to process grains and nuts into flour, which they then used to make bread and other foods. They also used fire to cook their food, which made it easier to digest and more enjoyable to eat. The ability to process and store food was also important for human survival. They learned to preserve food through methods like drying, salting, and smoking, which allowed them to eat the same food for long periods of time. This was especially important during times of food scarcity, such as droughts or winters. Overall, the diet of prehistoric humans was diverse and adaptable. They were able to survive by eating a variety of foods and processing them in different ways. This adaptability allowed them to thrive in different environments and eventually spread around the world. 3. Social structures and cooperation. Unlike many other animals, humans rarely survive alone. Even today, we live in cities and countries with millions of people. We work together and rely on each other for help. This desire to cooperate and live in groups has been with us for a long time. Some scientists believe that living in groups is what allowed our ancestors to survive. Here are just a few reasons why cooperation helped prehistoric humans survive. Division of labor. Living in groups meant that tasks didn't fall on just one person. Usually, tasks were divided up by age and gender. Men hunted while women gathered food. Younger members of the group might tend to the elderly or take care of children. This way, everyone could contribute and no one had to do everything. Food sharing. If prehistoric humans were like modern humans, they probably didn't like to travel without snacks. People would bring their extra food back to the group. This ensured that everyone in the community had enough to eat, especially the oldest and youngest members who couldn't always get out and forage for themselves. This practice is called sharing surplus food, and it's still common among hunter-gatherer groups today. Group defense. Being part of a group gave prehistoric humans protection from predators. Animals often hunt alone because they don't need to share their food. Humans, however, can protect each other and watch out for each other's safety when we stick together. This is especially true when you consider that our ancestors were attacked by large predators like hyenas, lions, and wolves. Cultural transmission. Learning new things is important if you want to stay alive. Just think about all the things you have learned in school. If you didn't know how to read or write, it would be hard to get a job and take care of yourself. Similarly, prehistoric humans had to learn skills like how to use tools and weapons, how to track animals, and how to identify edible plants. They passed this knowledge down through a process called cultural transmission. It's how we learn to speak, how babies learn to walk, and how teenagers learn to drive a car. This gives younger members of a group the tools they need to survive. So whether it was food, protection, or knowledge, social structures and cooperation gave prehistoric humans many advantages. All of these things helped them survive and thrive in a dangerous world. Number 4. Adapting to the environment. From the beginning, humans have been shaped by their environment. The places where we live affect the way we look, the way we behave, and the way we live. Our prehistoric ancestors were constantly changing their strategies to fit in better with their surroundings. Here's how they adapted to their environment. Shelter. Caves were the perfect place to live. They already had a roof over their heads and walls all around them. This meant that early humans didn't have to spend energy building their own shelter. They could simply move into an empty cave and feel safe inside. When they were done living in the cave, they just packed up and moved somewhere else. Most of the time, though, caves weren't close enough to where their food was, so early humans also made their own dwellings. They likely made small huts out of sticks and leaves to use as temporary shelters while they hunted or gathered food. During the Ice Age, they created shelters out of large bones and animal skins to keep warm. Fire. Controlling fire was a huge advantage for prehistoric humans. They likely first learned to start fires by rubbing 2 sticks together. Later, they learned to use flint and steel, bow and drill, bamboo and fire saw, and fire piston. These tools made it easy to start fires whenever they needed them. Fire provided light and warmth and kept predators away. It also helped early humans cook their food, which made it taste better and easier to digest. Foraging and navigation. Humans have excellent spatial memory, which means we remember where certain things are located. This ability helped prehistoric humans find their way around and remember where food was located. They needed to be able to navigate large territories, sometimes walking up to 60 miles a day to find food. Without maps or compasses, they used landmarks, the sun and the stars, to help them find their way back home. Technological flexibility. New technologies helped prehistoric humans adapt to different environments. For example, when ice sheets covered the land, people started catching more fish and smaller prey. They also created new tools to help them hunt, such as harpoons for spearing fish and smaller knives for processing fish and other small prey. Overall, prehistoric humans were masters of adaptation, constantly changing their strategies to fit their environment. They showed flexibility and creativity in finding solutions to the challenges they faced, allowing them to thrive and survive in a constantly changing world. Our survival wasn't dependent on one trait, but rather a combination of factors. Our adaptability and capacity to learn allowed us to exploit new resources and develop innovative solutions. Do you think you could survive in prehistoric times? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. See ya.